You know that feeling, right? Wishing for maybe just a few more hours in the day, or perhaps just a bit more focus to handle everything.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something everyone seems to struggle with.
Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today. Practical productivity hacks. We've been looking at this really engaging discussion filled with actionable strategies.
Hmm.
And our mission, well, it's simple, really. We want to pull out those tips you can use, like right away,
Yeah.
to work smarter, feel less overwhelmed.
Exactly. Not just theory, we're aiming for concrete ideas from this conversation, things that can genuinely help boost productivity, cut through the noise.
Help you focus on what matters.
Precisely.
Okay, let's get into it then. One of the first things that jumped out at me from the source material was the 2-minute rule.
Ah,
It
yes.
seems almost too simple.
Mm-hmm.
But the more I thought about it, the more I saw its power,
Well,
especially when you're juggling loads of different tasks.
it is simple, but that's the beauty, the core idea. If a task pops up and you figure it'll take less than 2 minutes.
Just do it, right then and there.
Exactly. Don't even think about it. Just get it done.
And the examples given were things like, what, answering a super quick email.
Yeah, or filing a document right away, digitally or physically, or even like washing that single coffee cup in the sink.
Instead of letting it sit there mocking you.
Right. Because those tiny things, they build up, don't they? They create this surprising amount of mental clutter.
And physical clutter, too, sometimes.
True. By tackling them instantly, you kind of build momentum. You stop that pile up.
Yeah, it's like clearing the runway, isn't it?
Eh,
Making space for the bigger planes, the bigger tasks.
That's a great analogy. You're not just tidying your desk or inbox.
You're tidying your mind, freeing up that mental bandwidth for the stuff that really needs your full concentration.
It's about managing cognitive load, essentially. That mental effort your brain's using.
So fewer little things buzzing around in the back of your mind.
Precisely. Which lets you dedicate more energy to the deep work.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Now, another really interesting strategy that came up was time blocking.
Right. Time blocking.
I know some people listening might have tried this, but looking at it again, it really seems powerful for bringing, well, structure.
Definitely. For anyone new to it, time blocking is basically about scheduling specific chunks of time for different types of tasks.
So being intentional about where your time goes.
Exactly. Deciding beforehand, like maybe 9 to 10 a.m. is purely for deep work, writing that report, coding, whatever, no emails, no social media.
Right, but for protecting that.
And then maybe say 10 to 10.30 is just for emails or maybe returning calls.
I like that. The deliberate allocation of time. What are the sort of tangible benefits you'd see?
Well, the biggest one is focus. When you know this block is for this task, it clarifies your priority
Reduces the temptation to multitask.
massively, which, as we know, is usually less efficient anyway. You're switching contexts constantly.
Which burns mental energy.
Right. And over time, if you stick with time blocking, your brain actually gets better at like dropping into that focus state during those scheduled periods.
Interesting, like training your brain for focus.
Kind of, yeah.
Creating those triggers. Okay, building on that idea of focused work,
Mm.
the Pomodoro technique also came up. This one's pretty well known, isn't it?
Very popular, and for good reason.
So for anyone who hasn't used it, what's the core concept?
It's basically about breaking work into intervals. Traditionally, it's 25 minutes of focused work. That's one Pomodoro followed by a short break, usually 5 minutes.
Okay, 25 on, 5 off.
And then after you've done, say, 4 of those cycles, 4 Pomodoros, you take a longer break, maybe 15, 20 minutes.
So short sprints, then a brief rest, then repeat, then a longer rest. What makes that rhythm work so well?
It taps into how our attention naturally works, you know? A 25-minute chunk feels way less daunting than, say, facing 3 solid hours of work.
Yeah, definitely less intimidating.
It makes it easier to stay concentrated because you know a break is coming up soon. Plus, those regular pauses are really crucial.
For preventing burnout.
Exactly, preventing mental fatigue. You come back to the task feeling a bit refreshed, maybe with a slightly different perspective. It helps you work with your focus, not against it.
That makes sense. We've all hit that wall trying to push through for too long.
Yeah.
Okay, shifting gears a bit. Our source also really hammered home the importance of setting clear daily goals.
Oh, absolutely fundamental.
Seems obvious, but maybe easy to forget in the daily rush.
Very easy. Having that short, defined list of priorities is like your roadmap for the day. The suggestion was to pick your top 3 tasks each morning.
Just 3.
Just 3. The ones that, if you got nothing else done but those 3, you'd still feel like the day was a success.
I like that. It sounds manageable, less overwhelming than a huge list. How does that focus help, especially when unexpected stuff inevitably comes up?
Well, think about that long, messy to-do list. It can be paralyzing, right?
Totally. Where do you even start?
By picking just 3 critical tasks that you stop yourself getting lost in, busy work. You make sure you're hitting the important stuff, even if fires pop up elsewhere.
And there's a psychological benefit, too.
Definitely. Actually ticking off those top priorities gives you a real sense of accomplishment. It reduces stress, boosts motivation.
Focusing on impact, not just activity. Makes sense. Okay, so we've got structure, goals,
Mm.
but what about interruptions?
Mhm.
Especially tech ones. Our source definitely pointed a finger there.
Oh, yeah. Technology is amazing for productivity, but it's also probably the biggest source of distraction for most of us.
Those constant pings and notifications.
Exactly. Phone notifications, email alerts popping up, the lure of social media, they just fragment your attention like crazy. Reduces efficiency big time.
It's a battle, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what practical steps were suggested to fight back?
Pretty simple stuff, actually, but effective, like putting your phone on, do not disturb, during those deep work blocks we talked about.
Okay, actively silencing it.
Yeah. And if you know you get sucked into certain websites or apps, maybe news sites, social media, using website blockers can be surprisingly helpful.
Creating digital boundaries.
That's the key. You're consciously creating an environment where you can concentrate, which ultimately means you get more done, better.
Right. Taking back control of your attention. Now, we touched on breaks with Pomodoro, but the source also stressed taking regular breaks generally, didn't it?
I
Even outside those timed sessions.
It did, yeah, because our brains just aren't built for hours and hours of unbroken focus. It's not sustainable.
So even super short breaks help, like just standing up.
Absolutely. Stand up, stretch, grab some water, maybe just take a few deep breaths. It acts like a mental reset button.
So it's not just about resting, it directly helps productivity.
Yes, precisely. These short pauses fight off that mental fatigue. You come back clearer, more focused. It helps keep your energy more consistent through the day. Avoid that afternoon slump.
Makes total sense.
Yeah.
Okay, what about the physical space, your
Yeah.
workspace? The source linked that to productivity too.
Definitely. A clean, organized workspace helps reduce mental clutter. It sounds a bit cliche, maybe, but it's true.
If your desk is chaos, your mind feels chaotic.
Kinda, yeah. Or at least it contributes. Having your tools handy, getting rid of stuff you don't need,
Yeah.
it creates a more focused vibe. Plus, things like good lighting, a comfy chair,
The basics, but important.
they really are. A supportive environment means less time wasted looking for stuff or fidgeting because you're uncomfortable. It frees up mental space for the actual work.
Even adding a plant, apparently.
Yeah, little things that make the space feel better can genuinely help.
I can see that. Okay, another interesting hack mentioned was batching similar tasks. What's that about?
Task batching means grouping similar jobs together and doing them all in one go.
Like all your emails at once.
Exactly. Instead of dipping in and out all day, maybe you have 2 or 3 dedicated email slots.
Mhm.
Or you make all your necessary phone calls in one block. Or do all your brainstorming together.
What's the main advantage there? Why is that better?
It keeps your brain in the same mode. Switching between really different types of tasks, say from analytical work to creative brainstorming, then back to admin has a cognitive cost.
Your brain has to switch gears.
Right, and that takes time and energy. Batching minimizes that switching. You get into a flow with one type of task, and you can often blast through them more quickly and with less mental drain.
Streamlining your mental workflow. I like it. Now, here's one I think a lot of us struggle with. Learning to say no.
The boundary setting skill. Crucial.
Our source highlighted this as a productivity hack, too, which is interesting.
It really is. Because saying yes to too many things, overcommitting, it just dilutes your time and energy. You can't possibly focus properly.
We want to be helpful, or we have FOMO, fear of missing out.
Sure, those are real drivers. But the productivity cost is huge. You spread yourself too thin, quality drops across the board, you end up feeling stressed, overwhelmed, maybe even burnt out.
So saying no is about protecting your focus.
Protecting your focus, your energy, your priorities, learning to politely decline things that don't align with your main goals frees you up to do a better job on the things you do commit to.
That's a really important point. Okay, related to efficiency, templates and automation came up too.
Yes, leveraging tools to handle the repetitive stuff.
How does that work in practice? like email templates.
Exactly. If you send similar emails often, having templates saves a ton of time. Or using tools to automate tasks like collecting data for a weekly report or scheduling social media posts.
So identifying those predictable, repeatable things.
Yeah. Find those tasks you do over and over and see if you can streamline them with a template or an automation tool.
And the benefit is freeing up time
And mental energy.
uh
Reducing the drudgery frees up cognitive space. Those saved minutes, they really add up over time. Gives you more capacity for the creative, strategic, higher level thinking.
making technology do the grunt work. Smart.
Yeah,
Now, one of the last points that really struck me was about reviewing your system. It's not set and forget, is it?
definitely not. Your productivity system needs checkups, just like anything else. What's working well, what's not working anymore.
So asking yourself, are these techniques still effective for me now?
Exactly. Or are there new tools, new approaches that might fit better? Our lives change, our roles change, our tasks change. Your strategies need to adapt too.
Maybe Pomodoro was great when you had lots of small tasks, but now you need longer focus blocks.
Precisely that kind of thing. Being willing to adjust and tweak is key to keeping your productivity sharp and effective for you.
A continuous improvement mindset for getting things done. I like that. Okay, and also scheduling hard tasks for peak energy times.
Ah, yes, working with your body's natural rhythm seems like common sense, right?
It does, but do we always do it?
Probably not often enough. If you're a morning person, tackle that complex, brain-draining task first thing. If you get a surge of energy mid-afternoon, schedule it then.
Don't try and force demanding work when you're naturally slagging.
Exactly. You'll work more efficiently, struggle less, and probably produce better quality results. It's a simple shift, but can lead to really consistent productivity gains.
Good point. And finally, keeping the to-do list short and realistic.
Yes, that giant, overwhelming list. It's often counterproductive,
Induces panic.
or just paralysis. Seeing dozens of items feels impossible. The idea is to pick just a few essentials each day, the things that will really move the needle on your important goals.
Prioritizing impact over just listing everything imaginable.
That's it. Completing those key tasks gives you that sense of progress, that motivational boost. A manageable list helps you focus, reduces anxiety, you get more of the right stuff done.
And related to that motivation,
Yeah.
celebrating wins.
Yes, don't skip that part. Positive reinforcement is powerful for keeping momentum going.
What does that look like? Big celebrations.
Doesn't have to be. Finish a tough report. Take a proper break, maybe grab a coffee you enjoy. Got through a really focused week. Just acknowledge it to yourself. Give yourself a little credit.
Small acknowledgments count.
Absolutely. It signals to your brain, hey, that effort paid off. That felt good. It reinforces the habits you want to build. Creates a positive feedback loop. Motivation, sustained productivity.
I love that. Building that positive cycle. Okay, so wrapping up this deep dive. It feels like a mix of things. Structure, like time blocking in Pomodoro.
And mindful task management, the 2-minute rule. Batching, clearer goals.
Protecting your focus is huge, too. Minimizing distractions, saying no.
Right. Optimizing your environment, working with your energy levels.
And then that crucial layer of reflection, adapting your system, and actually celebrating the progress you make.
It all works together to help you work smarter, achieve more, feel less stressed.
And the key message for everyone listening.
It's personal. Finding what works best for you is the goal. So experiment. Try things out. Adapt them. Don't be afraid to ditch something if it's not clicking.
Totally. We really hope you'll try maybe just one of these tips this week. Even one small change can make a surprising difference, can it?
It really can. And maybe a final thought to leave people with.
Go for it.
Think about how consistently applying even just 1 or 2 of these strategies might compound over, say, the next month. All that time and energy you could free up, not just for work, but for everything else that matters to you. What new possibilities could that open up?